إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا إنه من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله اللهم صل وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين من تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد عباد الله فإن أحسن الحديث كتاب الله أحسن الهدي هدي نبينا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة. I bear witness that there is no true deity worthy of worship except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and His Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is His final and last messenger. For you who believe, have taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and do not die except in a state of Islam, in a state of submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For you who believe, have taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and say the truth, say what is correct. If you do so, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would rectify your actions. And whomever obeys Allah and His Messenger, then he has already attained the ultimate success. Dear brothers and sisters in Islam, the best of speech is the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Quran. And the best of guidance is the guidance of His Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And the worst of matters are newly innovated matters in this religion. Because whatever is newly innovated in this religion will lead you astray, and whatever will lead you astray will lead you to hellfire. Many of us perhaps don't realize the type of relationship that the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam had with the messenger of the angels, Jibreel alayhi salam. The Prophet ﷺ did have a relationship with Jibreel, and it wasn't just a relationship of delivering a message, but rather it was a very dynamic relationship, similar to a normal relationship between an individual and another. It had emotions associated with it. This is why, for example, the Prophet ﷺ had asked Jibreel, why don't you visit us more often? He was longing to see Jibreel alayhi salam. He loved and enjoyed the company of Jibreel alayhi salam. But of course, the angels, being the angels of Allah, do not do anything unless Allah commands them, except with the permission of Allah. This is why Allah had revealed the verse in the Quran, وَمَا نَتَنَزَّلُ إِلَّا بِأَمْرِ رَبِّكَ. We do not descend except with the permission of your Lord. The Prophet ﷺ would enjoy so much reviewing the Quran with Jibreel every Ramadan, when he would descend upon the Prophet ﷺ and they would review together the Quran. In fact, the Prophet ﷺ was so delighted with this meeting and so happy that his generosity is non-paralleled than anyone's, although we all even know that the Prophet is normally generous. But this is even, the generosity comes more because of the happiness of the Prophet ﷺ. And it's because of this relationship that sometimes Jibreel alayhi salam would advise the Prophet ﷺ, would give him some advice. And inshallah, I want to share with you one of those advices that he has given the Prophet ﷺ. Now, it should not alarm us that the Prophet ﷺ would be advised, because it's not strange, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would say, فَذَكِّرْ فَإِنَّ الذِّكْرَ تَنْفَعُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ وَذَكِّرْ فَإِنَّ الذِّكْرَ تَنْفَعُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ, and remind, because reminder benefits the believers. So advice does benefit. Even the Prophet ﷺ would sometimes love to listen or like to hear these advices, especially from Jibreel alayhi salam. In fact, even the Prophet ﷺ, although the Quran was descended upon him, he would still like to hear it from others. This is why sometimes he was narrated that he would ask one of the Sahaba to recite the Quran to him so he would enjoy it. Of course, the Sahabi was astonished. He said, أَقْرَأُهُ عَلَيْكَ وَقَدْ أُنزِلَ عَلَيْكَ. I would recite it to you and it was descended upon you. And of course, nobody has ever recited the Quran better than the Prophet ﷺ. Can you imagine praying behind the Prophet with the beautiful recitation of the Prophet ﷺ? But yet, he would like to hear it from others. And he would ask him to recite. And sometimes they don't stop until they feel the tears of the Prophet ﷺ. Sometimes he would walk by, for example, and pass by Abu Musa al-Ash'ari while reciting, and then he tells him in the morning, if you would see how I was standing behind your door and enjoying your recitation. So once again, it's not something strange. So what was the advice of Jibreel alayhi salam to the Prophet ﷺ? Now this was narrated by many of the Sahaba, whether it's Abdullah ibn Abbas or Sahl ibn Sa'd al-Sa'idi, as narrated by Al-Hakim and Tabarani ibn Awsat. He said, جاء جبريل النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. Jibreel came to the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم فقال يا محمد عش ما شئت فإنك ميت واعمل ما شئت فإنك مجزي به وأحبب من شئت فإنك مفارق. The first part of the advice, the Prophet ﷺ is being advised. And he said, O Muhammad, عش ما شئت, live as much as you desire, فإنك ميت, you will die. وَاعْمَلْ مَا شِئْتَ فَإِنَّكَ مَجْزِيٌّ بِهِ, and do whatever you desire, you will be recompensed for it. وَأَحْبِبْ مَنْ شِئْتَ, love whomever you will depart from them. وَاعْلَمْ أَنَّ شَرَفَ الْمُؤْمِنِ فِي قِيَامِ اللَّيْلِ, and know that the honor of the believer is in قِيَامِ اللَّيْلِ. وَأَنَّ الْعِزَّةَ فِي اسْتِغْنَاءِ عَنِ النَّاسِ, and pride comes from الاستغناء عن الناس means that you're not in need of people. That word ghani means you're not in need of anybody, is that you do not place yourself in a position of need of others. When the Jibreel alayhi salam had told the Prophet ﷺ, so let's look at this advice very quickly. He said, عِشْ مَا شِئْتَ فَإِنَّكَ مَيِّتْ, live as much as you desire, you will die. Now the point of it is not to depress the Prophet ﷺ, but it's merely to state a fact. It is a fact. Whether Muslims or non-Muslims, they all believe that there is a time where everybody dies. But we believe that this is not the end of it. Death is part of our journey to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is another stage. This is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would remind us in the Quran and we say, كُلُّ نَفْسٍ ذَائِقَةُ الْمَوْتِ وَإِنَّمَا تُوَفَّوْنَ أُجُورَكُمْ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ فَمَنْ زُحْزِحَ عَنِ النَّارِ وَأُدْخِلَ الْجَنَّةَ فَقَدْ فَازَ وَمَا الْحَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا إِلَّا مَتَاعُ الْغُرُورِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, every soul will taste death. وَإِنَّمَا تُوَفَّوْنَ أُجُورَكُمْ, and verily you will be recompensed for your actions on the day of judgment. يوم القيامة, on the day of standing. So whomever is dragged from the hellfire, removed from the hellfire, pushed away from the hellfire, and placed in Jannah, then he's a winner. وَمَا الْحَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا إِلَّا مَتَاعُ الْغُرُورِ, and verily this world is nothing but a deception. It is a deception. A fleeing entertainment. A deceiving enjoyment. So it's just merely to state a fact to the Prophet ﷺ, and a reminder that this, live as much as you desire. In the end, you will move to the next stage. Now this is also a reminder that perhaps we should prepare for this death, for the next stage. It's coming anyway. It is coming. Sometimes it comes suddenly, but even if it comes with warnings ahead of time, none of us really at the time of death expects it. And so Jibreel is advising the Prophet with this to take advantage of his lifetime. To prepare for the hereafter. To plant the seed now so that he would reap the rewards later on. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَأَنفِقُوا مِمَّا رَزَقْنَاكُمْ مِنْ قَبْلِ أَنْ يَأْتِيَ أَحَدَكُمُ الْمَوْتُ فَيَقُولَ رَبِّ أَخِّرْنِي إِلَى أَجَلٍ قَرِيبٍ فَأَصَّدَّقَ وَأَكُنْ مِنَ الصَّالِحِينَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us about this. He says, وَأَنفِقُوا مِمَّا رَزَقْنَاكُمْ, and spend from what we had given you, blessed you, from the bounties that we have provided for you, from the sustenance we had given you, before death comes to one of you. And then when it comes, you would say, Allah, delay me for a bit, so that I would give in charity and be among the pious. So Jibreel ﷺ is telling us, or telling Prophet ﷺ, and of course us afterwards, is take advantage of this. But it also carries with it a warning that we should not be distracted, because our end is there. Do not be distracted, this is your target. Do not allow this world to deceive you. This is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَلَا تَغْرُنَّكُمُ الْحَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا وَلَا يَغْرُنَّكُمْ بِاللَّهِ الْغَرُورُ. Do not let these worldly desires distract you or deceive you. And do not allow the shaitan to deceive you. A question comes up, and perhaps we might not even think about this sometimes, is do we really know how much of our life do we spend we're accountable for, or how much of our life we are judged for? Let's take a quick mathematical calculation. The average span life for the human around the world is around the 70, 71, 72. So we'll say 70 for the sake of just making things easier. Now, we are never judged before we reach the age of puberty. So before then, everything is, we're not accountable for it. Of course, if we do hasanat, that is good, but we're not accountable for that. The Prophet ﷺ had mentioned there's three individuals, three individuals, three types of people that the pen does not write. It is elevated, it is risen, it does not write on them. One of them is the person until he reaches puberty. So we'll say the average of puberty, if you take averages, boys and girls, we'll say 12. So 12 years of your life, you're not accountable for it. Sleep. The Prophet ﷺ also said we're not accountable when we sleep. This is when you're spin. وَعَنِ النَّائِمِ حَتَّى يَسْتَيْقِظ. On average, if we sleep 8 hours a day, across 70 years, it means that we sleep an average of approximately maybe perhaps 23 years. 23 years we spend in sleeping, which means that we're not accountable for. The total is 35 years of no action, no accountability. So the remainder is only 35 years that we're accountable for. In those 35 years, this is what we have to spend in order so that we will plan ahead. Before that death comes, this is the livelihood, this is where we're living, 35 years. We'll assume that an individual is living his life to the fullest. Wealth, health, following every desire. For the complete 35 years of this enjoyment, is it worth really what he will receive in the hereafter? Or she will receive in the hereafter? So for 35 years of heedlessness, following your own desire, not following any rules, health and wealth, this is the person who's living life to the fullest. But then how many years would they be in the grave? You don't have to count very much. Think of Fir'aun, or the people of the time of Musa, when they died until now, how many thousands of years? And then there's still the day of judgment. At least we're standing there 50,000 years. So really, in the grand scheme of things, the 35 years is nothing. Is it worth wasting it for an eternity of punishment? The Prophet ﷺ mentions Sahih Bukhari and Muslim. He mentioned that يُؤْتَى يوم القيامة, the day of judgment, يُؤْتَى بِأَنْعَمِ أَهْلِ الْأَرْضِ مِنْ أَهْلِ النَّارِ. It will be brought forth the person who had the most pleasure in this world, from the people of the hellfire. He will be brought. He has entered hellfire. But he will be brought forth. ثُمَّ يُسْبَغُ فِيهَا صَبْغًا. He will be dipped in the hellfire for a second and then taken out. And he will be asked, هل مر بك خير قط؟ هل مر بك نعيم قط؟ Just remember, 1 second in the hellfire. And then he'll be asked, did any khayr, any goodness pass you in your lifetime? Did any pleasure pass you? Did you experience anything? He would say, La wallah. Just because he experienced 1 second of this, he forgot everything in those 35 years that we're assuming. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would bring the one who was the most miserable of this world. من أهل الجنة, from the people of the Jannah. ثم يسبغ في الجنة صبغة. Then he will be placed in Jannah for a second, dipped in there and taken out, and you will be asked, have you seen any hardship in your life? Have you seen any harm in your life? Remember, this is the most miserable individual. He will say, La wallahi, because the pleasure he experienced for 1 second made him forget everything. So Jibreel alayhi salam is hinting to this. Now the remainder of the advice is associated with understanding this. When he tells the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, وَاعْمَلْ مَا شِئْتَ فَإِنَّكَ مَجْزِيٌّ بِهِ. Do whatever you want, you will be recompensed for it. It tells you that this is all in our hands, it's our choice. That is the free will aspect. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had blessed us and shown us the paths, the correct path and the wrong path, clearly shown to us. إِنَّ هَدَيْنَاهُ النَّجْدَيْنِ. We have seen in both paths, shown in both paths. So it is for us to pick. And all our actions will be recompensed for it. فَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ خَيْرًا يَرَهُ وَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ شَرًّا يَرَهُ. Whomever does a speck, an ounce of dust, or a small fragment of dust, of goodness, he will see it. You will see your action on the day of judgment, even a speck. If you do a speck of evil, you will see it. ثُمَّ تُوَفَّوْنَ أُجُورَكُمْ. That you will be recompensed your action. وَهُمْ لَا يُظْلَمُونَ. And they will not be wronged. No injustice will be performed upon them. You will get what you deserve to the T. So the Prophet ﷺ is being advised. This is your life. Do whatever you want with it. But know that your actions, you'll be recompensed for it. وَأَحْبِبْ مَنْ شِئْتَ فَإِنَّكَ مُفَارِقٌ. Love whomever you will depart from them. Now once again, this is not to depress the Prophet ﷺ, but to state a reality, a fact. That this is a stage, there's a next stage. You will be departing from everybody you love. You'll be leaving everybody. So don't let them distract you. Don't let that love perhaps distract you from your target. Don't become so attached to these individuals or whatever this materialistic world is that you forget why you're here. But it's also an indication that we need to perhaps, if we love an individual, to do our best to advise them so that we can meet them later on. That this is not the end of the road. It provides or gives us a solace, patience, condolences that this is not the end of the path. We will meet each other later on. But maybe perhaps we should be aware of where we're going to meet each other. This is why we should be careful with the ones we love. And it's our duty to advise them, to love the best for them. But we'll never be able to do that unless we ourselves are the best that we can be. And then Jibreel alayhi salam would say to the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, وَعْلَمْ أَنَّ شَرَفَ الْمُؤْمِنِ فِي قِيَامِ اللَّيْلِ. So he's giving him a recipe of what to do to take advantage of this lifetime. And he said, know that the honor of the Muslim is in qiyam al-layl. The honor of the Muslim is in qiyam al-layl. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, تَتَجَافَ جُنُوبُهُمْ عَنِ الْمَضَاجِعِ يَدْعُونَ رَبَّهُمْ خَوْفًا وَطَمَعًا وَمِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُمْ يُنْفِقُونَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about the believers, their characteristics. تَتَجَافَ, which means جُنُوبُهُمْ عَنِ الْمَضَاجِعِ, which means that their sides are, they're shunning their beds. تَتَجَافَ جُنُوبُهُمْ عَنِ الْمَضَاجِعِ, on the beds at night. يَدْعُونَ رَبَّهُمْ, they worship Allah, they call on to Him خَوْفًا وَطَمَعًا, out of fear and hope. Fear of their own actions, fear of the punishment, and hope in the forgiveness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَمِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُمْ يُنْفِقُونَ, and from what we have given them, they spend. And another verse in the Quran, فَلَا تَعْلَمُ نَفْسٌ مَا أُخْفِيَ لَهُم مِّن قُرَّةِ أَعْيُنٍ بِمَا كَانُوا يَكْسِبُونَ. These people who pray at night, they do not know what beautiful rewards, or soothing of eyes, the rewards they have on the day of judgment, what they spend. Now this is a great time to remember these things, is because Ramadan is coming up, and this is all from Qiyam al-Layl. The Prophet ﷺ had advised us to do this, because this is the way of the previous pious people. دَأْبُ الصَّالِحِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ وَقُرْبَةٌ إِلَىٰ رَبِّكُمْ. And it draws you closer to your Lord, and it eliminates your sins. But then the Prophet ﷺ mentioned something important, or the Jibreel mentioned to the Prophet ﷺ something important. The last part of it is that the pride of an individual is to not make himself dependent on others. That you do not need others, but rather you depend only on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This really does give you complete freedom. It does not allow you to be a person who is humiliated in this world. But humility is only to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. مَنْ كَانَ يُرِيدُ الْعِزَّةَ فَإِنَّ الْعِزَّةَ لِلَّهِ. Whomever is seeking pride, then it belongs to Allah, He gives it. The izzah is for who? لِلَّهِ وَلِلرَّسُولِ وَالْمُؤْمِنِينَ. For Allah, His messengers, and the believers. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive our sins, and make the ones who walk in the footsteps of the Prophet and guide us to the best of paths. إن الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا طيبا مباركا فيه وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على آل إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. Dear brothers and sisters in Islam, perhaps it's a good time to remember this advice of the Prophet ﷺ, considering that it is Sha'ban and only in merely a few weeks Ramadan is coming. And to remind us that we need to plan for our hereafter through small steps and take advantage of important times, just as Ramadan. But we need to plan ahead what we're going to do in Ramadan so that we're able to attain it. Whether it's how much you want to recite, prepare for it from now, spiritually, psychologically, whatever it is you need to do. But it's also a good time to plan and determine what are the things that you want to leave behind that you think that is holding you back from reaching the pleasure of Allah. Whether it's sins or bad habits, whatever they are, remember, no matter how long we live, we will die. Once again, it's not to depress us, it is a fact. You need to plan for it. And all our actions we will be recompensed for it. And we should not let our loved ones distract us from what is there, but rather we should take them with us. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us barakah in our time. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to enable us to reach Ramadan and fast in the best way possible. اللهم اغفر للمؤمنين والمؤمنات الاحياء منهم والاموات ارحمنا برحمتك يا ارحم الراحمين واسالك الهدى والتقى والعفاف والغنى اللهم ربنا اتنا في الدنيا حسنه وفي الاخره حسنه وقنا عذاب النار اللهم علمنا وينفعنا وانفعنا علمتنا وزدنا علما اللهم علمنا وينفعنا وانفعنا علمتنا وزدنا علما اللهم ارزقنا في الدوس الاعلى ما قرب اليه من قول وعمل ونعوذ بك من النار ما قرب اليه من قول وعمل اللهم نسالك في الدوس الاعلى ما قرب اليه من قول وعمل ونعوذ بك من النار ما قرب اليه من قول وعمل اللهم انصر المسلمين في كل مكان وانصر عبادك المستضعفين في كل مكان وانصرهم على اعدائك اعداء الدين وارفع رايه الاسلام والمسلمين واخر دعوانا ان الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى اله واصحابه اجمعين وقوموا الى صلاتكم.